Hey, I thought I would create a vlog on things not to say on Twitch, but not like obvious stuff, not copypasta or things that are said just to trigger people, but actual things you may not know are considered bad etiquette or things that turn people off, things that you may not be aware of if you're new to Twitch culture or Twitch chat. So I've got 10 things. Hopefully this can be informative and it can come across in a decent way. One thing to bear in mind throughout this vlog is that it is not personal. So not all of these things, for example, would annoy me personally. But when you go to a stream, you're not just there to make friends with the streamer. You kind of want to get along with chat in general. You want to become part of the community. And you never really know what's going to get on people's nerves and what's not. In general, it's best to err on the side of caution, I feel. And a lot of these things really are not necessary. You can definitely have an amazing, amazing time on Twitch in so many ways and through chat in so many ways without saying these things. So, I'm going to get into it. The first one is, I think, a particularly controversial one, and it's a difficult one. Self-promotion. Now, honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest about it, I don't think it's okay in any circumstance. I don't think it will ever come across well for you. And this is really, for you, it's not going to do you any favors. If at any point you say, I'm also a streamer, or I just finished a stream, or I use that on my stream as well, or you mention your stream in some fashion, it's pretty much always going to come across as self-promotion, and people don't like it. A lot of streamers really, really don't like it, and that makes a lot of sense. One analogy I love giving of why it disturbs so many people is if you go to a fruit store to buy oranges, the last thing you want is some guy coming up to you while you're putting oranges into a plastic bag to go purchase them, or a canvas bag for the environmentally conscious. But the last thing you want is someone to come up to you while you're doing that and start trying to sell you their oranges from their backyard and their back garden. I mean, it's just a very inappropriate place to do that. It's another example is if a musician is playing a concert, the last thing you want is some dude to stand in front of the stage and be like, I play music too, and that's kind of how it comes across. So I know oftentimes this is not how it's intended, but it really does rub people the wrong way. If I'm going to be completely honest about it, the only safe way to self-promote yourself is to raid that streamer. And that really, if I'm going to be honest, that really is the only kind of decent etiquette way of going about it. If you're really a core part of the community and everyone knows you, then you might get away with being able to mention that you're streaming or you're building up to starting a stream. But outside of that, it's a very iffy it's an iffy issue. So I would honestly not recommend speaking about the fact that you're a streamer at all. If you're there because you want to self-promote, you're there for the wrong reasons anyway. So you're better off not being there if that's your reason. In general, people don't like it when people speak about themselves too much anyway. So even if you're not speaking about being a streamer, if you speak about yourself a huge amount, this can rub people the wrong way. Obviously, you're going to speak about yourself because we're human, but if you do it too much, it can still rub people the wrong way. I think specifically if you're promoting your own stream, it's a bad idea. Now, point number 2 is very similar to point number 1. Something you may not know, but shouting out other people during the stream is also considered bad etiquette. So if you are on streamer A, you're on streamer A's stream, but you're shouting out streamer B, not yourself, a different streamer, it's still considered bad etiquette. It's still kind of trying to sell oranges in a fruit store, trying to sell your own oranges from your backyard, or maybe trying to sell someone else's oranges from their backyard. But it's still an inappropriate place to do it. It still rubs off the wrong way. Very, very similar to point number 1. And I noticed that a lot of chatters who aren't streamers will try and promote their streamer friends, and it always comes from a good place, but it does rub people the wrong way. The one exception, and I would call it a sometimes exception, is when streamer B actually raids streamer A. Then you may be able to mention streamer B because they just raided and be like, oh yeah, I love their stream as well. But to be honest, I have seen some streamers get very annoyed by this. In general, I wouldn't do it. Don't shout yourself out, don't shout other streamers out. If it comes up in conversation and the streamer themselves is actively encouraging that sort of conversation, it may be okay. Again, there are some streamers that are totally okay with self-promotion. There are some streamers that are totally okay with you promoting other people, but I would err on the side of caution. This particularly often seems to rub people the wrong way. Tip number 3 is don't make demands. And this is not just the obvious, host me, or you should raid me, or you should host me sometime, or you should come watch my stream. There are also less obvious versions of this. Sometimes you think you're helping the streamer, like, oh, you should adjust the lights, or you should do this, or you should do that. In general, if a streamer's not asking for, help, then don't tell them what to do. And this will go into point number 4, which is don't give advice unless a streamer is asking for advice. But in general, don't make demands. Don't be like, play this song. A lot of people on music streams come in and they immediately request a song. They don't say hello, they don't do anything else, they just say play this song. And it really is dehumanizing. It rubs people the wrong way, both the streamer and the community. I would highly recommend not doing it. Similar sort of thing in gaming streams or in art streams when someone comes in and says play this song on the playlist. Obviously in the background music, it's similar sort of thing. It's kind of like, you come in here and immediately tell me what to do. It's very annoying. In general, you shouldn't be telling them what to do because they're running their show. You're there to enjoy it, or alternatively, leave. You can message them privately afterwards. Oh, I don't think the playlist, I think it needs changing, things like that. But it's certainly not something to do in chat. It will rub the streamer the wrong way, and a lot of other people will also be rubbed the wrong way. Don't forget, there are other people in chat that are also kind of judging your interactions. Okay, tip number 4 is advice. Do not give advice unless the streamer is asking for advice. You may think you're helping, but really it comes across so badly. It always comes across so badly. Even if you're super knowledgeable, you do not come across as knowledgeable, you come across as arrogant. Unless the streamer is saying, please help me, or I don't know about this, does anyone here know about this? Don't start spitting out advice. Don't come to a stream and say, you'd have much better results if you did this, this, and this. It's just not going to come across well. Oftentimes, I've seen the best etiquette I've seen is, especially other streamers when they're watching streamers, maybe like, I'll DM you about how I do this after. So that way it's just not taking up any room on chat at all, and it's all happening behind the scenes. So that's what I'd highly recommend in almost all cases when it comes to advice or making demands or changing things to your preference or changing things to improve them. Just do it privately. Tip number 5 is negative or sus comments about a streamer's appearance. Just don't say negative or sus things about a streamer's appearance. These are inside thoughts that you have in your head if you have them. They're not something you say out loud. If you're a good friend of the streamer and you notice that they've made like a bad call in regards to something in your opinion, you can write to them later and you can be like, is there a reason you've done this? Because I don't think it works well for you. And you can do that privately. Don't do it out loud in chat. And if you're not good friends with the streamer or you don't really know them at all, don't do it at all. Just don't. And sus comments, especially things like commenting about how short those shorts are or how low that top is cut. Things like that. I mean, streamers are not stupid. They know what you're saying. It's rude. It's not your place to say that. If you don't like it, leave and do it that way instead. It very much falls into the category of advice, but worse. It's just really off-putting, and it can make people feel very uncomfortable and self-conscious. Okay, tip number 6 is hitting on the streamer, and you might be like thinking that the streamer's really enjoying the attention. I won't say that they're not, because there may be streamers who do, but I would say the majority of the time, even if the streamer is like laughing and giggling and it seems like they're enjoying the attention, they don't know what the hell else to do. They don't know how to react. It's a very awkward situation. So I would say just don't hit on streamers. Just think about it logically. You are a username in a chat. Once you become part of the community and they get to know you and you get to know them a bit more, maybe you could privately message. I'm not here saying that there's no chance whatsoever of some sort of relationship forming. I suppose it is possible. There are a number of streamers that will literally never go down that route. But if you want to give it a crack, then do it privately. And if the streamer says no, accept that they're not actually interested. Even if they seem responsive on stream, it's most likely because they don't know what else to do, and it's a very awkward situation. Tip number 7 is cute names for that streamer. And I guess this kind of falls into tip number 6. Names like babe or honey or darling or sweetie. Don't respond to the streamer with these names. I mean, I've seen it done so many times. There are people that don't have an issue with it, but like I've said before with many things, even if other people in the chat have an issue with it, you're rubbing people the wrong way. It's not doing you any favors. Most often, even if a streamer seems responsive to it, there's every chance that they do find it awkward, or they find it strange, or they're like, I wish they'd just call me by my name. So I would not recommend doing that. You can do that if they're your husband or you know them on a deep personal level. But if you don't, even if it's something that's, you know, culturally acceptable in your part of the world, don't do it on Twitch. It will rub people the wrong way. Okay, tip number 8 is comparing streamers to other people, especially other streamers. Again, you may think that the comparison is favorable, but it is dehumanizing. It is putting the streamer in a place of being judged, often like a piece of meat, and it is really uncomfortable. No person actually likes being compared to another person. They just don't. No one wants to be a copy of another person. It's just, it's within human nature to want to be unique, and we are unique, which is great, isn't it? It works out fantastically. But just don't do it. Don't compare streamers to other streamers. It is extremely awkward. Now, number 9 is very similar to number 8. It's not just streamers, but also other chatters. If you have problems with other people within the Twitch community, bringing that up in chat is the wrong place to do it. Don't speak negatively or toxically or whatever about other streamers or community members or other chatters. Don't have your fights publicly in the chat. Not only will you obviously be turning off that person you're fighting with, it's not, you know, gaining people to your side or anything. Everyone is turned off by people that do that. Everyone, the streamer, the other people in the community, the other people in chat. Don't do it. If you're gonna have a fight, be a responsible adult human about it, or a responsible teenage human about it, and sort out your freaking problems outside of the stream. Do it through privately messaging the person you've got issues with. If you're going to get other people involved, don't get the streamer involved, because you're putting the streamer in a horrible position. You're making their life difficult. They need to be focusing on their content and, you know, fostering the community, not on your dispute. So just sort it out with the person you're disputing with, and if you're going to get other people involved, just do that off stream, privately. Don't do it as part of chat. If someone brings something up and they're offending you or they're making you upset, message them privately. All right, and the final tip, and this one will save a lot of streamers a lot of strife, is don't tag the streamer unless you absolutely have to. And it feels, as a streamer, it feels very awkward having to call this out, because really it just reads as the person doesn't understand Twitch etiquette. And other people see this and they're also thinking the same thing. Why are they tagging the streamer over and over again? That's usually what's going through their head. Don't tag the streamer unless you absolutely have to. When I say you absolutely have to, it could be something like an audio issue, or they literally asked you for a response to something and you want to make sure that they see your response. But I mean, just because you've got something to say on a topic, so do the other people in the community. You don't need to be the one that is tagging the streamer. In general, when you tag a streamer, it pings them. Your message is highlighted in the chat. It can distract from other people's messages. It's kind of like drawing attention to yourself. It's like flailing and saying, pick me, while there are other people there being like, I have something valid to say too. So obviously that's a bad idea. So there are my 10 tips that you may have not realized are Twitch etiquette. And although some of these may come across as an opinion, and often like they kind of are, I mean, in a sense that you could totally turn around and say, I'm okay with self-promotion, or I'm okay with people having public disputes in my chat, or I'm okay with people hitting on me. Although these may be okay in certain streams, it's best to know that just because one person, the streamer, is okay with it, it doesn't mean it doesn't rub other people the wrong way. And other streamers may not be okay with it, so it's best, I think, to err on the side of caution. When you know for certain that it is a-okay and you know for certain that other people will be okay with it, then it's probably at that point fine to do. It's just really, in general, if you want to foster good relationships with as many people as possible, in general, I would say those tips apply in most situations. Hopefully this was helpful, and if you like the video, please do give it a like and share it around and all those other things that people do on the internets. If you have anything else to add, also feel free to comment below with your own Twitch taboos as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I think this is it. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, I would love for you to hit down that subscribe button and also the bell notification button so you can be notified in future when I put up videos. Also, I'd love to do a massive shout out for everyone who is a part of Ninja Club. Your support and encouragement is absolutely invaluable. Thank you so very much. If you're a fan of what I do, I encourage you to check out Ninja Club. There is a link at the top of the description box, and have a wonderful rest of your day. You rock all the Lego blocks.